What's the matter? Scared?
When I die in a game, whether it was my own doing or the game just sucks, I get frustrated. It's simple. I was trying to do something, I couldn't do it, and now I have to try to do it again. I mean, it's not like a big deal, especially if the game is willing to just throw me right back in, but if there's one thing I hate, if there's one thing I could change about video games in general, it would be how the player's failure is dealt with. Usually, it's a black screen. Game over. You died. Thanks for rubbing salt in the wound, buddy boy. I'm just trying to have a good time, and this is messing with it. I've noticed that in pretty much the majority of games, platformer, brawler, intense, kinda laid back, losing is always treated in the same way. A point blank, you screwed up, you just better try it again, friend. Well, okay, at that point, the game is banking 1000% on one factor, and that's that I want to keep playing. And if I don't, this isn't terribly encouraging. Picture this scenario. I'm having a romp through Sonic Adventure or something, and I'm dying quite a bit. Screw up, fall,
No!
respawn, try it again. I have good reason to think that I might as well just try it again some other day because I'm obviously not on my game. This is because that little interval of time between Sonic's tragic death and his reincarnation took me out of the experience. There is no underlying significance to death, it's just a very dull, dead end to your progress. This isn't even about the quality of the gameplay. Heck, it could have the best gameplay out there. It's just about how smooth the process of falling down and getting back up again is, which, what I'm getting at, tends not to be smooth. So, can a player experience failure and not feel discouraged? Yeah, check this out. So, Grow Home is a really cool game. In short, you grow a plant super high up by guiding different star shoots into floating islands. As you can see, it's a pretty chill game. There are really only a few things that can kill you, but the main way to botch a situation is losing your grip while climbing around, which leads to a massive free fall back to Earth. Whoa! You can break your fall or even guide yourself back to the plant, but no matter what, you're losing some progress. This could seem even more frustrating than just dying and having to retry an obstacle, but it's really much more special. Like I said earlier, we don't get anything other than bad news out of a game over screen. They're abrupt and we've learned to loathe them. When you mess up in Grow Home, you get a sudden sweeping view of everything you've accomplished so far before you start back up on that star. I don't know about you, but for me, this gives a great incentive to keep on going. When you're guiding the plant, you only get a small snapshot of your feet, but as you're falling, it puts just how grandiose the whole thing is in perspective. It's very rare that we get to view in whole the implications of our actions. During a defeat, instead of closing our vision and focusing only on how we failed, we can concentrate on just how much we've accomplished and how much more we're capable of doing. We're so used to having failure as a reason to be upset, but we can use it as an opportunity. The world is designed for you to progress vertically, making it easy to repurpose your fall, even if you didn't plan to fall in the first place. Maybe I missed a crystal on the way up. Well, now I have a great excuse to go get it. There's a middle ground between success and failure, which is why it's less likely for us to consider our attempts fruitless, even if we aren't quite playing as effectively as we can. Now, I'm not saying that we need to totally rid the current application of death from games. That would be crazy talk. But what I am saying is that it's something we take for granted and can be tweaked and twisted to fit different kinds of games. Grow Home is a very zen-like game. The deaths are rarely sudden, and at that, they're always predictable. You always have the power to recover and learn. There have been a lot of great creative ideas in games over the years, many of which break conventions we rarely even consider a variable in design. I mean, I would even venture to say that nowadays, death screens could be considered cop-outs on allowing the player to correct mistakes in a graceful and fluid manner, but they're just so ingrained into our heads as a staple of game design, I'm sure most developers see them as simply a thing that every game has instead of something that can be changed. This ties in with choice-based games like Heavy Rain and The Walking Dead. A player may consider a certain action a failure, but the game carries on either way. It allows a player to fix something to their own accord, just like how a player can adjust their fall to be beneficial in Grow Home. It lets the player think more freely about his or her actions and judge success based on what he or she has accomplished, not how many lives are left. There can be a gray area for failure. I think that with this kind of thinking outside of the box, there can be a lot of really unique and more fitting ways to implement failure because, let's face it, no one likes seeing this. Ever. Hey, what's up? I'm eating dinner right now. If you like this video, like it. If you have anything to say, if you have any input on the subject matter, I'd love to hear it in the comments, and I'd love to have a chat about it because this is a pretty cool topic for me. If you want to see more cool vids, subscribe because I kind of make a lot of cool vids. This ties in with choice-based games like The Heavy Dead and The Walking Rain. No, jeez.